Hey everyone, super thanks for being here, especially for our new part-time bootcamp students that started yesterday. Thanks for being here, Eugene and others. Uh, really excited today to welcome Arthur. Arthur is the head of engineering at Decathlon, which also happens to be where Liz, our recent graduate from full-time bootcamp 6, is working. Arthur has been working at Decathlon for most of his career. He studied computer science at Epitech, European Institute of Technology in France, and is currently based in Singapore, leading the engineering team in Singapore, but also engineers who are outside of Singapore. Arthur is going to be sharing with us today about his journey as a software engineer, as well as the software engineering culture and experience at Decathlon. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Arthur.
Yeah, so hello everyone. So let me just share my screen. So we have, I will say, a usual way to present ourselves in Decathlon. So I will do exactly the same. So my name is Arthur. I'm 27, so I'm quite young. I will say I will start from the beginning. So I'm an owner from a dog, not married. I'm with my girlfriend since almost 8 years now. She's also working in Decathlon. You know, Decathlon is a huge family. So when you start to work in Decathlon, usually if someone is trying to find a job, everyone trying to find a job for family. So I'm born also in a little island called Reunion Island near to Africa. It's a French island. So I start as usually going to any kind of study, went to France because we don't have the choice to, I will say, have a big university in where I was born. So I started to do I would say 2 years of general practitioner, so medicine study. So it was not really something for me. So I quit and I went to 5 years of, I will say, technical university called Epitech. So Epitech is kind of the same way of working than I will say Rocket Academy. So it's a 5 years formation where you learn everything from a project. So you don't have any, I will say, professor that will help you to find a way, a good way or the bad way. You will use mainly Google or internet. You still have some mentor to help you, but mainly you just learn through different projects. The purpose of this formation was also to be able to go to another university. So I went to Canada, more focused on project management, and as well for marketing purpose. I do believe that the study was not where I learned the most. It was mainly with the company and all the internship that I have done. So I arrived in Singapore in 2020 as an intern. So in Decathlon, we have the chance to have a lot of different responsibility. So I started to be, I will say, an intern software engineer. So I was working more on the backend side to migrate our old website. We're using something, if you don't know, but PrestaShop or all kind of big website. When something happened, everything crashed and nothing is working properly. But for Decathlon, it's a huge company, so we try to not affect the customer. You know, there was something called COVID-19 that everyone needs to stay at home, can only order online. So we have to find a way, to scale our business online. So we did find a way. So we went from a website called PrestaShop to a full microservice website to increase the stability of the website. And initially, we're only 4 people. Now, this is basically the team, and we are, as you may see, hiring a lot of different people. So there is me called engineering lead or head of engineering. There is Ophélienne as well, a French. So I'm French, by the way. You can hear with my accent. 50% of my team come from bootcamp. Because I do believe that people from bootcamp can also build a lot of things. And especially in Decathlon, we are looking people that have other experience in other career path, but can also help us to bring some idea. So interesting idea. So there is Liz that was in Rocket Academy, Gloria, and Patrick came from General Assembly. And so this team is basically working on the websites. We are still hiring for a lead front-end developer. So to lead this team, I'm still doing this job today, but in the long run, the purpose is to have someone that can help them to grow in terms of technical skill. Ophélienne is what we call a staff engineer, so more on the back end, leading the team to all the topic related to the backend, and we have three other developer, so two other developer internally in Decathlon, Ashley and Malawi. Ashley joined 1 year, 6 months ago, and Malawi is the senior of the team. He's here since 4 years now. And we are still hiring a DevOps engineer. So it's someone that will come in March. And the purpose of Decathlon, we are a big company, present in 60 different countries. And so when you work in Decathlon India or you work in Decathlon Japan, sometimes people from other countries are working for different countries as well. So for example, Swayambhu is working from Decathlon India for Decathlon Singapore, but now he wants to switch and directly come to Decathlon Singapore. So this is something that we can allow to our developer and different engineer. And it's the same for people in Singapore. If one day they want to go to France, Australia, Japan, China, Vietnam, I can give you all the country
that's a lot.
the world. So basically, he will come from Decathlon India, and we are currently hiring someone for engineering developer that will validate mainly tomorrow. So in total, the team will grow up until 15 people, internally and external developer, because we still have external developer in Decathlon. Why? It's because mainly it's to handle sometimes the business can go down, sometimes the business can go up. It's e-commerce basically. So instead of hiring like 50 people, and when everything goes down, we fire everyone. We don't do that in Decathlon. We have a structure, a basic team with stable. We know that if everything goes down, we keep them as much as we can. I'm proud to say that Decathlon didn't fire anyone during the pandemic, and we didn't fire anyone since Decathlon Singapore started. So it's one of our main, I will say, DNA. So when you will grow up, we'll hire external developer, but not internal. So we'll try to have 15 people. I would say usually what a day in Decathlon, we are a sport company. So doing sport is not something where you need to ask your manager do I need to take 2 hours of break, or do I need to take a leave? No, when you want to do sport is kind of working for us. So you can do the sport, going for 2 hours break with like some friend doing like tennis. We just did at 4 p.m. with Liz and my team handball all together from 4 to 6. So usually it's like kind of normal. I'm running 3 times a week, and sometimes with my manager as well on the morning. So yeah, so in Decathlon we use agility because it's something that can help us, especially we are still a startup, I would say. We are not a tech company. As you can see, we are not like 50 people in Singapore. So we still use the Scrum methodology in order to adapt and also be able to, if you don't know the Scrum methodology, it's basically just a way of working like, okay, I accept requests, and I'm not like blocking 6 months of development. I'm just like accepting requests when it needs to change. And based on the market, I'm trying to adapt also the development that needs to be done. But usually a day starts around 9 to 9:30. I'm not picky about the hours. The same is still a Decathlon, I would say a chill company. So you start around 9 to 9:30. You start with your work. If you want to take a breakfast, so sometimes you have breakfast with the team. After we go for lunch, we have the stand-up daily where you just speak about what you have done, what are your blockers, what you would like to what you are doing for the day, and on the afternoon you just walk again, or you go to do sports at the end of the day. And we do it. We walk like this. There is a special thing in Decathlon called individual development. So every month you have the chance to exchange with your manager, so your leader, about your pleasure and displeasure. So it's a way of how Decathlon has been built, but we know that especially on the development and the engineering side, that a lot of frustration can come, especially like when you develop something that is not working or working with different people. So Decathlon create this what we call IDD, in order where you can exchange with your leader about your pleasure, displeasure, and also to prepare your dev plan. So your development plan. Okay, I want to do some training. I want to be able to go to do some certification and all those kind of things. So we also enforce, I will say, especially my team, to do training, because certification is good for us, but it's also good for the developer to maintain the standard of what's going on in the engineering side. So it's for sure you have done only 6 months, but I'm sure that after those 6 months working with a company, you will learn a lot of things, and you can apply also with a certification to say, okay, this is where am I today, and this is where I want to go in the long run. So yeah, I will say it's pretty much it for the presentation on Decathlon side. It's quite quick, but I think it's more for you than for me. So I don't know if you have specific question, if you still have some interrogation or anything like this.
Lots of interrogation. Okay. Oh, is there something on the left? Oh no. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks so much, Arthur, for sharing about your journey and sharing about the culture and the work at Decathlon. That's super helpful, and really appreciate you preparing those slides. So students have been sharing some questions in the Pigeonhole, but I'll answer. The link is in the Zoom chat. But I'm just going to kick off the Q&A with a few questions of my own. Earlier, at the last part of the presentation, you were talking about individual development at Decathlon for software engineers, and you're talking about training and development. I was just curious if you could elaborate more on that. You were saying there's a 6 month, or I mean, students can do training for 6 months.
No, it's I was speaking more about when you do your 6 months, I would say boot camp, when you finish. So in Decathlon, what we promote is it's you need to be autonomous and all those things. Today we have a partnership with Plural Sites. It's a website where you can do training. Today I really asked to my teammates to do first technical training. So we try to allow them 10% of their own time during the work.
Oh, wow.
So it's around 8 hours per month to do the training.
Oh wow! What was the website again? The
Plural Site.
Oh, Plural Site. Oh yeah.
Sorry, my accent is.
That's really cool. No. Yeah. Plural Site. Yeah. I know.
So the purpose is really to, I have done study. I know how things work, but when you come to the industry, everything is moving fast. Yeah. So even me that I've done 5 years of study, sometimes I'm quite not I will say updated about what's going on. Yeah. So this is what I asked to my team, to do 1 hour, 2 hours per week to do some training, also for them, and also to discover new things to do. Yeah. Especially in Decathlon, we are not blocked in a specific, I will say, development. So if you want to integrate a new framework to try, you can try. If you want to integrate a new feature in a new way, you can try as well. It's kind of, I will say, a school. Yeah. So we have those kind of possibility, and we have also another way of training, more of human training. As you may understand, but Decathlon is really a human company. It's really oriented to the human side. Yeah. So you can learn anything that you want online. So technical with Google, but what you will never be able to learn is leadership and Decathlon is really a good school for the leadership.
Oh, how so?
So you can learn. So you have a lot of formation in Decathlon, internally in Decathlon, to help you to grow about how you can help someone when he face some difficulty, how you can conduct an interview, how you can conduct a negotiation with external people, like all those kind of, I will say, more human relation, soft skill, soft skill.
Yeah. So opportunity, like, I guess there's a lot of coordination, of course, because between different teams, because there's operations, there's the business side, and there's the engineers.
So today the team is composed, so we have around, I will say, 12 developers, so internally and externally, and we have 3 POs, so product owner. So basically they are owner of their product.
Yeah.
And they are the one that do the bridge between the business, so our digital sport leader, and request from the customer and the engineering team. We have also UX and UI researcher, like basically the UX and UI research for us, a designer, and a QA, also quality engineer team.
And are there any specific programs for leadership development other than the day-to-day work?
To be honest, it's quite huge. You can do 6 days of formations. We can send you to France to do 1 week of formation. We can send you.
What's
to
a formation?
So basically, for me, for example, I'm going to France to do 3 days of formation about how to be a good leader. So how to conduct IDD properly, how to conduct an interview properly, how to make sure that to spot all the kind of problem. Yeah, so formation is training in French. So yeah, it's like you do. It's really depending on what you are looking for, but you can do also how to make value. So in the company, so how to create value. So yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, it really feels like a like a work family, right? Like you guys play sports together. You see each other. You meet stand-ups every day, and you go for training together.
That's awesome. So the thing is, there is some link to this. Is also Decathlon is, so Liz was quite, I will say, stressed, but the first month when you come at Decathlon, you need to meet the CEO of the company face to face, 30
like
minutes.
the whole company.
Just the CEO. So you go to meet the CEO, so the guys that run the company of Decathlon Singapore, and you have 30 minutes to exchange with him. After you need to make the CTO and all those kind, and this is, I don't think it's usual, especially that Decathlon Singapore is like 800 people now. So yeah, this is kind of, and you can meet also the CEO. It's kind of normal. It's like really you are not exchanging with the director of the company. You are exchanging with someone that is working in Decathlon. Okay, you have like a lot of responsibility, but you don't feel to be like, okay, I'm trying to speak with the CEO. It's really stressful. Or do you want me to take the question one by one?
I'm gonna let me try and organize them a little bit. So let me just read through and organize. So I think a lot of the questions are okay. There are a few questions about the team and the structure of hiring roles. Then there are a few other questions about the products. So maybe I'll start off with the team since we were talking about the people aspect. Nat had a question. Well, I guess this should be a straightforward one. Is Decathlon open to hire for traineeship or internship roles?
Yes, for sure. So in my team internally, I have 2 open positions for internship.
Oh wow.
Every year. So if your internship is 6 months, so I can have a full year position, but it's basically open for the full year.
Okay.
There is no specific role, back end, front end, anything like this.
Nat, did you have any follow-ups on that, or is there anything you wanted to clarify?
No, it's just more of like probably I'm a little concerned of like what the requirements for the traineeship or internship is, because currently I'm in an apprenticeship with a startup company, and my learning journey towards a software developer is more of like a 3-month crash course bootcamp that is being offered by Skills Future. in which I feel like my knowledge isn't as in depth yet. So during this 6 months apprenticeship that I'll be completing in first week of October, uh, sorry, I don't think I hear you properly. Yeah, so I'll just repeat. So I'm currently in a 6 month apprenticeship that'll be ending the first week of October. So I actually did a 3 month crash course boot camp offered by Skills Future, but I feel my knowledge isn't very in depth at this point of time, despite having this currently about 4.5 months apprenticeship in a startup company. So the encouragement for the program is just like, after this apprenticeship, we're supposed to find a full-time roles. So actually wondering whether is that Decathlon open to like say probably have me as a traineeship or an internship role so that I can further learn at the same time work in this particular industry and have more experience and having like probably a senior and a mentor that I can learn from instead of trying to self-learn on my own.
Yeah. So on the question of senior so senior, we have one backend senior and me as well. So since 4 years, I'm doing development on the backend, on the front end, on React.js, on Node.js, on TypeScript, all those things. So I can mentor my team, and also it was mainly my job before I joined Decathlon. I was a mentor for students in my old school. So yes, for sure you can have like internship. We also do hire people that came directly from a boot camp, and they will have to learn during their path in Decathlon. And we know that people that come from a boot camp do not have maybe the same kind of knowledge that people did like 2 years of experience in the industry. That is totally normal. But you will have formation, you will have trainings to do. There is me, there is different people that can help you. We'll also have like kind of a junior developer in the team that work for Decathlon since almost 2 years that also can help you on the less complicated topic. But yeah, it's something that we do.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thanks for asking. Thanks for answering that. Related to that, yeah, what is Eva had a related question, which is what is the software engineering hiring process like at Decathlon when you are interviewing candidates for these roles? What are you looking out for?
Okay, so the first thing is a human side. The first interview that you will do in Decathlon is why we should hire you, not because of your technical skill. I'm the first one to say that I may be wrong, but everyone can do, development. Maybe not good as anyone, like not good as like everyone, but you can still learn through different bootcamp, through different formation. What I'm looking for is people that like sport, but also is here to face the challenge and try to resolve them. Maybe not in the good way, maybe not in the most optimized way, but at the end, not like just to say, okay, I cannot do it, I will not do it, just trying to do it. And as I explained to you during our call, just like in Decathlon, it can happen that you break something on our production hour directly on Decathlon.dg. Yeah, it's okay. I will not like blame the developer. It's normal. It's a current process, it's a learning process. We try to avoid these kind of things for sure, but sometimes it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know for you, Liz. But yeah, it's really I will say what we try to explain to the people that join, that I think that if you don't do mistake, you will never learn. So this is the first step of the hiring process. So mainly, so Milena is with me sometimes, so she's on the call as well, just to confirm our own doubt about like, is it something that will like Decathlon? Are we sure that we want to hire this kind of profile? The second turn is a more technical test. So we use a platform called Code Academy. It's just to see if you have at least the base, because if I'm hiring someone for junior, I want at least they have little kind of base. So to understand, I will say how to code, how to resolve some of problem, so mathematical problem or algorithm problem. And the last one is either if we have some doubt, we go to a last round with my leader, so my manager, or either we do an offer. So it's quite fast. 3 or 4 weeks. I think that's what has been done with Liz. You can be hired or not.
Awesome. Eva, did that answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Another question about your current job opening in Singapore is only Singaporean only and PR only, or foreigners also can apply?
Everyone, I'm not close. You know that it's more and more complicated to hire a foreigner. But I'm trying to post as much as I can on the portal of the government. If at certain point of time I cannot find a profile, I'm still hiring the people from other countries. After, I'm not the one that decides, it's still the government that allowed to have the visa. I know what I'm talking about is quite complicated sometimes. But we have the change that Decathlon is a huge company, so it might not do something to the government, but at the end they know that we are hiring a lot. So when we can, we try. But for now, I'm mainly focusing on PR or Singaporean. Why is because I don't think that people, so maybe not me or foreigner will stay forever in Singapore. So I'm not the one that will build the Singapore in 60 years. I think it will be Singaporean. So we are still trying to hire people that are Singaporean, but yeah, for sure. We are not closing the door for any kind of profile.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for asking. Thanks for answering. Okay. Anonymous has a question. Sorry, I don't know who asked this, but feel free to reveal yourself. What's the ratio of senior to junior engineers?
Okay, so today we have one on the back end. So you still have always someone. So you have so Ophélian, that is the staff engineer. He has around 4 to 5 years of experience, so it's quite already huge. And also you have a lot of experience in Decathlon system. Decathlon is a company that is quite old, so we have a lot of legacy to deal with it. Yep. So you are quite happy to have someone like this that can help you. Yeah. On the front end, so there is me that can help a lot on a lot of challenges, but we are still recruiting a senior on the front end. On the mobile app, all our developers are senior. Why? It's because it's, I would say, more complicated to find someone that is junior and can handle the full app alone. Yep. But I will say it's the ratio is like 1 senior for 4 developers.
Anonymous, did that answer your question? No. Okay, I tried. Okay. Feel free to follow up if there are follow-ups on that. And related to that, kind of going from junior to senior, how are engineers? Anonymous had another question. How are engineers' performance gauged, and what is the career progression like at Decathlon?
Okay. So what do you mean by gauge? Like, how do we?
As in, like how do we know whether to promote someone, or how do you evaluate whether someone is progressing?
So we use something called. So there is 2 ways to check the performance of someone. The first one is we use what we call a skill matrix. So it's a super complicated matrix with a lot of different skill that you need to acquire. So the first thing is we know that someone that is junior will have always 0 or 1. And the purpose is to check with during the year. So we write down something called a mission. So you have a mission file in Decathlon. I can show you if you want. Can I share my screen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love that.
You will understand. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the mission?
Yes, it's a bit small
okay.
though.
Let me try to zoom. So this is what basically we write down for all our teammates. So we define the mission. So what we want to do, the KPI. So this is what will, I would say, decide about your performance in terms of business sense. And behind this, we use another file. So basically, it's just like really, we resume the year through different, for us, feature, but also integration. So, for example, I don't know if you know, but Decathlon became a marketplace. So we sell not only Decathlon product now,
Oh,
and
wow.
other kind of products. So, for example, the purpose was to do the marketplace integration. So for my team, it was to bring the possibility to do it. So the KPI was to be able to do it in start of Q2.
Yeah.
So this is what we have done.
Mm.
As you can see, we still have brand inclusivity and positioning. So
Yep.
one of our main KPI is to practicing sport all together, celebrate
Nice.
victory and team workshop. So it's like one time per month.
Mm.
And after we have some KPI more, I would say technical KPI. So 99.98 of availability, write down a DRP template. So DRP is the disaster recovery plan. So
Right.
if someday like AWS decide to say, okay, now I'm closing the server,
Right.
we need to find a way to still run Decathlon.sg website.
Yeah.
We have a lot of different way also to check the quality of the code. So we use
Nice.
Cloud, code coverage, projects are
Awesome.
documented. I'm fighting for the documentation.
Yeah.
I know it's not something that the developer likes to do, but for me, it's
Mm.
really important.
Mm.
And after other things linked to Decathlon. So
Mm.
this is more your, I would say, overall KPI and overall way to check your performance.
Yeah.
And also more for the link to the developer. So all the mission is open to everyone. What I mean is like everyone in Decathlon can see a mission. It's not that something that we don't like, that we try to not share.
Yeah.
The purpose of the mission is everyone that is not inside the same department can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So for example, I take
Oh.
sorry, I will take, but I know it's not still inside, so we can take this. Is it this one? Yeah. So it's not the note that has been done, but basically it's this is what we use. So the skill, your capacity to,
Great.
for example, manage some language. Do you have the basics? Do you know how to manage an exception? Do you know how to design a component? Do you know what's the JavaScript version, the class, the package, the basics, the development standard? Do you know how to use the local storage, the cookie, all those kind of things? This is how you will be,
Very structured. Yeah.
Yes. Same for the data exchange. Do you know the JSON, the XML, the YML, the marshalling, the HTTP, the request, the GraphQL? It's normal that today you don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But this is my role, and this is the role of all the training that you will have to be sure that you know what we are talking about. Do you know TypeScript, context, Redux, TypeScript, like Next.js, Node.js? And we know everything, like, do you know how to use a editor? Do you know how to do tests? Do you know how to do continuous integration? Do you know what's Docker, Kubernetes, Vault?
Yeah.
So you cannot be good at everything. And behind this, what we have is like a skill ramp up. So a skill ramp up is linked to a product, because you can have the overall knowledge on the language, but you need also to know the product. So when you work on the website or an app, you need to know those kind of things. So this is what we define. So today we have different skills metrics, and for example, the basics for the infrastructure. I know how to manual action the management, to manage the infrastructure change. If I want to spawn a database, if I want to spawn a new instance for our website, these kind of things. I know how to clean my useless data in case of an issue, monitor my infra component with a reference monitoring tool. All those kind of things is the basics that you need to have. So you have the basics level, the ramp up, the automated, and the continuous improvement.
Wow.
So it's a long journey in Decathlon. Most of the people, I'm speaking about France, but they stay around 2 to 3 years. So it's something that you work during the 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So this is how we I will say, ensure that people are matching and also evolving in the company.
Oh, I think all of us here want to work at Decathlon now. That was amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Anonymous, did that answer your question? Okay. I mean, I assume that was a great answer. Thanks for answering that. I think we can transition a bit to the product questions, if that's okay. So there are a few questions here about the product. Eugene had a top voted question. what are some of the cool products being built in Decathlon apart from web applications?
Okay, so in Decathlon, so you can only see so first is a question that if you do ask this question, you don't use the app. It's a super app, by the way. But
Shame
so
on
we
you.
have a mobile app in Decathlon. So it's a native mobile app. You can purchase in store. So you go with your app, you scan a QR code of a product, you can check out without going through the normal point of sale. So you just need to go out from the store and you have paid your order. So you still need to make the
Wow.
payment, but this is what we have done, and it's done internally in the team. We have something also built called the order management system. So for example, today, when you order in Decathlon website, you are ordering, for example, 3 items. The thing is, as you may not know, some of the product come from Malaysia, some of the product come from Singapore, but you don't know where is the product. So when you want to buy a shirt and a shoe, but we have one is based in Singapore and one based in Malaysia, we need to be sure that the customer can receive it. So we did build an algorithm on Singapore side to split the order of the customer. So I can show you and do a demo.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be cool.
So it's live on our website, but so this case almost happen only like 5% of the time, but when you know the system, you know how to force the I will say the case. So no, this one is Second Life product. So we sell also Second Life. So this one is
Nice.
a development that has been done by Decathlon Singapore. So Second Life product is something that has been sell again. Something that is been buy by Decathlon and sell again on the website.
Yeah.
So let me just check these products. Okay, so this one is coming from one store, and I take a bike. Okay. So yeah. So this is what happened today. It's you want to still have this super swimming suit. If we don't allow the customer to split the order, you are not able to check out. So what we did, we implement. So this one is coming from a specific store.
Yeah.
And this one is coming from another store.
Right.
So you have 2 parcels, and those 2 parcels are basically will come to you as 2 different parcels, but for the same order. This is what has been built in Singapore. So all those things has been built by Singapore. All the website that you have done that you see today has been built by 3 people in the team.
Wow.
Only 3 people in 1 year.
Wow.
And many only junior. So as you can see, people from bootcamp can do a lot of great things.
Yeah.
It's just the tool that they need to have. But yeah, everything has been built from scratch.
That's incredible. The algorithms are useful, I guess, because you had to write the algorithm to split that. We do algorithms in the bootcamp as well.
So
Eugene, did that answer your question?
Yeah, more than what I expected.
Okay. And then related to that, I guess there's Eugene's other question, which is how are currently employees involved in that process of thinking about new products? And specifically, he was asking about the Decathlon Data Lab, or employees mainly focused on executing the existing ideas.
Okay, so let me just recheck the question because I'm not sure that I did understand the full...
Yeah, maybe Eugene, you can elaborate as well.
Yeah, so basically I saw online that Decathlon launched a new initiative called Data Lab, and I'm just wondering if like employees are involved in that initiative.
So the Data Lab is where it's our office where we are working. So the Data Lab came from an idea where, you know, the government of Singapore is investing as much as they can in the data of Singaporeans. Today, we know what Singaporeans sell, what they want to buy in Decathlon when they do sport, but we don't know what kind of practice they make. And on the other hand, there is, you know, Sport AG that know how people, how Singaporean make sport. So in order to help also Singaporeans to do sport and help them to find a way to start a sport, we come by Decathlon and the Sport AG collaboration in order to expand the data. Behind this is, the NTU is one of the best of the university in terms of data scientists in the world. Just the first university are based from Beijing. One is from Beijing, and the other one are based in America.
Wow.
So that's the main thing, and also it's if we want to become what we call a digital giant, we need to create an environment where it's more a way where you exchange with people. So we did build this data lab to exchange with our employee, the employee, the teammate. Just like when you come at the office, it's just not to work. It's more like to exchange, to do sport together, and all those things. So the building, the way of the section of the share has been done through a survey. Okay, with what kind of share you want. There was a big pain points for the developer. Oh, we don't have enough screen, so we did add one screen for all the tables. So every table has a screen now. So you have your own screen when you came. You have also your locker. So it was also a pain point. Oh, I don't have like a locker where I can put my stuff. Okay, so we build a locker. Wow. We don't have a system where we can do a meeting properly. Okay, so we did invest on the something like this. So when you work at Decathlon, you can be also a shareholder, so you can invest in the company. Decathlon is not like on the stock market, so all the investment is done by the employee. Only employee can invest in the company.
Wow.
So you're also part of the growth of Decathlon. Yeah. So yeah, it's everything that everyone do, writing, like the vision for Decathlon Singapore, the 2 years vision, you will write it with everyone. So you have the CEO that will explain, okay, this is where I want to go. How do we achieve now? So you will write the mission and the overall, I will say, mission for Decathlon Singapore. And from those pillars that you see, so brand inclusivity, so from my mission, you will have to write your own mission as well. But everything is, I will say, it's done in collaborative way. There is not someone that will say, okay, you do like this, and this is how we build things. I will say it's more like find your way, and we'll try to be on the same line together.
Wow, sounds much more than a date. Sounds like a dream office, like a utopian co-working space or something.
I think this is the main, when people are in Decathlon and when they stay in Decathlon, the first reason that we know it's the way of working, and also the culture, the ambience of Decathlon.
Yeah, amazing. Eugene, did that answer your question?
You are mute, so we cannot hear you, Eugene.
Yeah, okay. So meaning the initiatives, the digital service initiatives are mainly incubated by research agencies, but as software engineers, will you get exposed to it, or like will you get to, understand how it works and then maybe partake in the development of that?
What do you mean by expose? I'm not sure to get the question.
Because there are like digital services that are being experimented at the data lab or the store that.
Yeah, so basically the team that is working in the data lab is my team. So all the experiment that we are doing is done by my team.
Oh, okay, all right.
So for example, I take an example, but look, so it was where Liz was not there yet, but we have a robot in the store. This has been built by someone that was in the team.
Wow.
Okay.
There is someone that is doing also. So when you order something online, we need to have an app to tell to our teammates in the store to say, okay, you need to pick, to pack, and send the order. So we are building this app in the store. So those kind of innovation is done by my team.
All right. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've used those features before, so I'm just very impressed that you're here, that you guys built that stuff. All right. So continuing on the product questions, Anonymous had another great question, which is about how the team, because Decathlon is a global company, as you were sharing earlier, and I'm sure there are software engineers in many of the different offices as well. How do you guys decide what is built in Singapore versus what is built globally? And I know you shared earlier about some of the stuff that was built specifically by the Singapore team, like the algorithm to break down the orders and the
There is, so how do we build things first is we are using things called one core solution. So all those things are built by friends. So it's all the, I will say, block that do a simple job. How to prepare an order, how to fulfill an order. It's you take an order, you make a payment. This one is a normal process of processing. But when you need to build something more related to the country, to the constraint of the country, this one is related to the developer in Singapore. So for example, Singapore was the first country for Decathlon to do ship from store. So to take an order and ship it from the store to your house. To do a 2 hours delivery also is not something that is simple. We need to prepare, to pick, pack, put in the box in 2 hours. So all those kind of constraint is built locally in Singapore. But for example, management of the logging. So when you need to log on the platform is done by Decathlon United. So what we call Decathlon United is Decathlon France, but maybe mainly the team that are working on the corporate solution. When you need to save your address, edit your address, all those, I will say, sensitive data about the customer. The purpose is when you are logged on the Decathlon website, you can be logged on other kind of website. So the purpose is to standardize more and more the main, I would say, core, but all the specificity of the country is maintained and done by the country.
That makes sense, like the shipping details for Singapore, for example. Yeah. Did that answer the question? All right. Anonymous. Yeah. And also related to products, Dylan had a question around tech stacks. I saw that in the leveling framework that you shared earlier, there are all the different technologies, some of the most latest modern technologies for all the different components of the stack. Could you elaborate a bit more about what technologies are used to build the products?
Okay. So on the website, we use React.js. So I would say it's quite like a modern stack, plus Next.js. So it's a framework on top of React, where you can do server side. We use context to manage the context of the application.
Is this specifically React context, or is that something else?
Yes, React context. It's like a full React context. We use also a full Kubernetes website. So it's a full microservice with Kubernetes, Docker, container, auto scaling, all the fancy stuff like load balancer, auto scaling, or all those things. On the backend, we use Java, Spring Boot. So, it's super cool to use. We are starting to explore what we call Quarkus. So you can check, it's a framework in top of Java Spring Boot to increase the performance by like almost 100%.
Wow.
So it's really to go faster and I would say to be more able to deliver things fast. And we use new things for Decathlon, but for us was Kafka Stream. So it's kind of I will say a webhook system where you register to a pool and you receive a lot of message. So for example, you do a change on a product count. So you change the name in like around 10 minutes, you get the change on the website. You change the price, around 10 minutes, you get the change on the website. So all those kind of things are quite important. And now one of my developers the senior backend developer is working on the front end using React Native to do an app.
Yeah.
Because his wish was to be able to work on the front end. So yes,
Nice.
want to work on the front end, do that. So I don't need to hire someone, and for you, it's also a good way to be aligned on the standard also. So he's doing a training. It's long, but he's learning how to use React Native to do an app and all those things.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. These are some of the most modern technologies out there, and super excited that someone who works there can get exposure to all of these things. Dylan, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you. And it's really cool to see that a lot of the frameworks that we have learned in Rocket actually translates well.
Awesome. Good to hear. Not a plug for Rocket, but he said it. All right. And okay, so there are a few. Thanks for sharing those details, Arthur. That was really helpful. There are a few more questions around the going back to the people side, the team side of things. Can you elaborate more about when you're saying you look for culture fit, and you're looking for someone who doesn't give up and someone who's likes sports and can integrate into the culture? Can you elaborate more about how you evaluate those things?
So you mean the question is the one?
Oh, sorry, this is Sam's question.
Okay, so okay, let me just look at the culture more. Yes, so when for a developer, it's if I want to hire a developer, I will be really straightforward. But if I want to hire a developer, I would go to an external company. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You can develop. I don't care if you like sport. You just develop the feature that I want.
Yeah.
But when I hire someone in Decathlon, it's just not for 1 year or 6 months. I'm hiring people to stay for Decathlon for 2 or 3 years. Okay, maybe they will not stay so much longer, but this is what I'm trying to do when I'm hiring someone. So yeah, I'm more looking for culture fit. It already happened that I didn't take someone because his culture fit was lesser than another candidate, but in terms of technical skill, it was like much better. But this is not what I'm looking for. Maybe it's sometimes when you say that and you compare to a big company like Grab, you say, oh, it's like super rare to act like this. But I think that when I see what has been done by Shopee and Lazada like 3 months ago to fire 20% of their developer, I'm glad to say that this will never happen in Decathlon, and this is what I'm fighting for. And yes, it's sometimes, so yeah, we don't have like the best developer on the world, but as you can see, we can do a lot of fancy stuff. I think it's just the formation. So if you are keen to learn, I will say, try to find a way to understand what's going on the market and to try to meet the standard, I think everyone can do it. Maybe with more, you need to have more time, but yeah. It's okay. You have a senior developer for that. And when I'm hiring today, mainly on those kind of developer jobs, so junior developer, I'm looking for culture fit.
Pam, does that answer your question?
That does. Thank you very much. That's an awesome answer.
Awesome. And the anonymous asked a question: what are you looking for a potential hire? We already covered that earlier, so I'm going to share the video afterward to replay that answer if you're curious. I have a question on myself.
Yeah.
So Arthur, you were talking about that a good number of the team come from boot camps right now, and of course, culture fit is super important, and having that past experience and maturity is important to you. What would be your recommendations for everyone here who's going through a boot camp right now? Because you yourself, you went through computer science education as well. And so for people who are going through a relatively short course to learn the practical skills, some of those skill sets that you mentioned earlier to build things like the Decathlon web application, what would your recommendation be here for everyone here to prepare for work as a software engineer at a place like Decathlon?
Okay, so I will not say for Decathlon only, but the first thing is when you find a job, I know, it's like now the salary is going crazy and you can have like a lot of good pay. But the first thing that you should check, and I'm really talking about this, is like find a company where you are aligned with what they do. If you don't like what they do, you will maybe stay 1 year or 2 years. And that this is what I'm like, for me, it's my own, I would say, experience, that if you're aligned with the company and maybe you get like a lesser pay, it's okay, you will still work with them and you will evolve really a lot with them. The other thing is always try to do formation, training, certification, because working in the company will keep having the same, I will say, language that you will use. But the world is going really fast. And 5 years ago, doing Docker container was not something that all the company were doing. Now, when you go to any kind of company, they're all like container, like using Docker, Kubernetes. Using microservice was not really still something like 5 years ago. Now it's like a standard. So trying to do some training and yeah, it's like try to find also what is the most important for you as a software developer. Do you want to learn and grow in the company, or do you just want to get a huge pay? It's like, those kind of things depend on you. But yeah, in any software company, I think that you need to be really, you will need to like the product you will build. Because if you work in the fintech and you don't like fintech world, doesn't make sense to work for those kind of company. But if you like to do an e-commerce website, or if you like to build an app, you will see that all the effort that you will make to have those kind of development done will be something that you will be proud of. It's when I came in Decathlon in Singapore, we are only 4 developers.
Yeah.
And we did work a lot. We are working Monday to Sunday, but not because the company asked us to do it. It's just because we are so glad to work for the project and learn also for us how things work. And it's like, okay, it's super cool. And I don't think that if I was working in other company, that we're able to do those kind of things.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Mayank has a quick question. I think we can end off here because it's 9 o'clock. But what are the favorite sports for the team?
What's the favorite sport?
Yeah, for the team.
Oh, we don't have a favorite sport. We did handball today. We do sometimes tennis. We do bowling. For me, it's running, and I really like running, but the run don't really like me. I'm really struggling in Singapore. It's super hot. But no, the thing is, what I asked the team is to at least prepare something every month, a different sport. I did like some rock climbing as well. It's something that I like. Badminton, you can try any kind of sport. That's the purpose of Decathlon.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for, Liz likes rock climbing, so she can show you the tips. Thank you so much for being here today, Arthur. That was super, super helpful. The presentation, all the answers. I think we'll wrap up here.